Hi, good evening. And well, maybe it's not evening where you are. My name is Tamara Carroll, and I'm the host tonight for Life with Lipedema Loved, Valued, and Treasured. And I'm so glad that you're here. Please pop in and tell me where you're from and tell me one thing that you are grateful for. And I always like to start, the podcast in a real positive way. And I'm super excited to introduce to you my guest and just really get into this different modality that I've just recently learned about myself. So, as you know, it is Lipedema Awareness Month. And I just really want to encourage you to be going to the Lipedema Simplified page on Facebook or on the YouTube or on LinkedIn and share and bring awareness, because the more awareness that we bring to this, more women can be helped. And also, I believe the medical community will also be more aware. So use this opportunity to just share and talk about maybe your own personal experience. I just really want to encourage you to do that. And another thing that I like to do to start out is always to read an inspiration. So I'm going to be looking down on my little piece of paper here. It says, promise yourself. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to a greater achievement for the future, to wear a cheerful expression at all times and to give a smile to every living creature that you meet, to give so much time to improving yourself. I like to say self care, that you have no time to criticize others. I put that on my Facebook page just recently about just challenging yourself not to complain, um, to be so confident to not worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble, to think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in a loud word, but in great deeds, to live in faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best thing that is in you. I thought that was a really super thing to start out with today. So I'm so excited to just tell you a little bit about my guest today. She and I met online several years ago. We were in a Christian business networking group that's online. And I don't know, I think we got connected into a group. She's an author, and of course, she has her drum therapy business. And we were in a group together where we were doing accountability on writing a book and all that. And I think she's written several books since then. So my friend tonight is Dori Staehle, and she is the only, I think this is so cool, the only certified drum therapist in North Carolina. And she creates customized, innovative, holistic programs for kids and adults that are evidence-based, easy to do, and loads of fun. Dori's programs have helped to reduce anxiety, stress, ADHD issues, boost confidence and creativity and productivity, and have even helped those on the autism spectrum. I think that's really cool. Dori works virtually and in person and has a faith-based programs as well. So please welcome Dori Staehle.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Yay! Well, welcome, welcome. Um, Dori, can you take about 5 minutes and just maybe share a little bit about your drum therapy and how is it you got into it and what does that kind of look like? I think we have some slides. We have some graphics with that.
Cool, yeah. For those of us who are visual learners, I'll walk you through the slides. You get to hear my story and learn a few things about what drum therapy is and what it isn't. So it's definitely good vibrations because when you hit a drum, it feels really good, and those vibrations just go through the whole room. So as you may or may not know, drumming goes way back. Dates back to African tribes and Native American tribes who used drumming for three different reasons. Oops, if we can stay back on the other one. Wait, it's going ahead on its own. Hang on. It was used for three different reasons: communication, celebration, and also for healing. So they knew something way before it caught on over here. In fact, the field of drum therapy is relatively new. So a lot of people haven't really heard of it or they don't really understand it. And we'll get to some of the slides which tells you what it is and what it isn't. So we can go to the next slide. My personal story here. There I was. I auditioned for a church band. I had blonde highlights back then. At the ripe old age of 47 with no experience, no lessons, and no drums at home. I decided, what the heck? Why should the kids have all the fun? So there was a little program as we were sitting in the church, and it said, would you like to audition for the band? And I checked yes. And my husband and our son said, you did what now? I said, I signed up to audition. And they said, well, you don't really know how to play. And I said, well, they don't know that. So let's see what happens, right?
Wow.
You never know till you give it a shot. I thought, what's the worst thing they can say? Don't call us, we'll call you, right?
It's so funny.
So I auditioned on a Thursday night and they said, see you Sunday. And I said, oh, like this Sunday. So I guess I managed to muddle through that audition enough, and I followed the drummer, and I knew that I had a good sense of rhythm since I was a kid. I was the kid who drummed on everything. My dad said, no drums, kid, but here's some dance lessons. So tap and jazz. So I was tapping out beats with my feet mainly. And I prayed, Lord, just let these beats that have been in my head and my body my entire life, let them come out at the right time so I don't make a complete fool of myself.
Yeah.
So it worked out fine. And I realized as I was drumming, boy, this really feels good. I felt both relaxed and energized at the same time. So I wanted to know, is there science behind this? So I Googled, is there such thing as drum therapy? And I found out that there was. So I signed on for training with two different organizations, and off I went, or so I thought. Well, I'll keep this training in the back burner because as you go to the next slide, you'll see that I was having kids come to my house for tutoring because that was the business I had at the time. It was educational consulting and private tutoring. Loads of SAT prep. So boring, but I created different techniques. I always create my own ways of doing things that work really well and are very creative. But on one particular day, this young man that I was working with was blowing his math problems. And I said, dude, what's going on with you today? Last week you were doing fine. This week, not so much. He had about a 40% accuracy rate on these problems. I said, hey, can we take a break for 5 or 10 minutes and do something fun? What kid's gonna say? What kid's gonna say, nah, I'd rather do these math problems than no kid ever, right? So this is my living room. So he came into the living room. We sat across from each other, gave him a djembe drum, which is what you see there in front of the coffee table. Native American buffalo drum is the black drum sitting on the table. And I said, I'm going to show you some easy techniques that are hopefully are going to help you focus better. Let's see what happens. I knew all about brain integration way back when because I used to have my young tutoring students do these different stretching exercises. As a former runner and dancer, I knew that it helped boost their focusing, but I didn't know why. And then I found out, it's called brain integration. We are syncing up the left and right hemispheres of the brain so they can focus better. I can do this with drumming for the older kids because they're not going to want to stretch out to music before they're tutoring. Now, that's kind of lame, but I had mostly guys for tutoring, mostly male students. All right, so this young man drums with me. We did special techniques. I moved my hands in different ways, told him this is not the way I normally drum when I'm playing with the band, but I'll tell you what we're doing after we're done. Okay, fine. Go back to do the same math problems, and he got a 100% accuracy rate on the exact same math problems after only 5 or 10 minutes of drumming. Mm-hmm. He said, wow, Miss Dori, how did that work? And I said, well, you've just been recalibrated, my friend. Wow. And I told him that the left side of your brain was sleeping a little bit. That's where language and math reside. The right side of your brain, the creative side, the spontaneous, artistic party in your head all day long side, that one was a little bit too active. So we needed to sync both sides together so that you're more balanced and focused. Plus, the drumming helped reduce stress. He did say he was extremely stressed out that day because of college applications, final exams, his parents bugging him to get all his work done. And drumming is an instant stress reliever because it's a great release. You can't think about anything else when you're tapping out beats and focusing on that.
That's very cool. What a great story.
Yeah, so the kids said, Miss Dori, I think you're onto something. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. I wonder what else this can do. What else can this help with? Yeah. So if we keep on going, you'll find out what it can and can't do. This is kind of small and tiny, but if you zoom in, you can see that it has tremendous benefits for both your body and your mind. And there's so many studies out there that have tested all of this out. They're usually 8 to 10 week protocols in a group. And I've done both group drumming events and loads of private sessions. And I'm documenting all of my results as well. So I found out that, yes, your stress levels are reduced. You focus better, your productivity is better. It boosts your creativity. Women suffering from any form of menopause are telling me that they're sleeping through the night for the first time ever. I didn't expect that. Kids on the autism spectrum relate very well to the drumming because autism's on the right side of the brain and so is rhythm. They catch on really quickly, even if they're nonverbal and even if they don't make eye contact with me. They hear it and they can repeat it pretty well. And sure enough, several of the kids that I've worked with who are nonverbal are actually speaking words now. Oh my gosh. So cool. Extra bonuses we didn't expect. And for your mind, it really does help you reset your mindset. And this is really important for healing because studies have shown that patients who are going through like a long-term illness or they're going in for a procedure, if their mind is filled with negative expectations and things, they fare much worse than somebody who comes in with a positive mindset and who is just expecting that they're going to get better.
Right. And I could see how that would happen even in our community.
Exactly. You have to make sure that you shift. I always say you shift your beat a bit, and it can really change things for you. So that boosts your immune system, and it does all kinds of cool stuff, lowers your blood pressure, you name it. And as for me, I'm hoping the next slide is about my accident. So if we can move it. No, it's not. Okay, we'll get to it. A lot of people think drum therapy, they see drums and they think everything is drum therapy, Dori, right? Oh, I know what you do. No, you don't, because I'm the only one, and there's only 3 of us in the South. So, hello. They generally think it's a drum lesson or a drum circle because they see the drums and they think, oh, that's a drum circle kind of drum. Well, not necessarily. I'm a rock chick. These are just these are just really easy to travel with, and they're very lightweight, and I can play all kinds of different music. Or some people who have experienced African or shamanic drumming think, nah, that's what it is. I don't do any of that at all because that's just not my thing. I did start out doing drum circles because I thought I had to, but then I realized, oh wait, I'm creating my own lane here, and I realized, yeah, wait a second, I've got training. I'm now a certified drum therapist. I'm going in that direction, and I created my own customized programs. So I enhanced my training quite a bit because nobody was creating specific beats and rhythms for specific purposes. Everything was kind of generic, corporate wellness, things like that. It is a healing modality. I'm certified with an organization known as Drums and Disabilities. If you go to your website, it says right on the main page, the healing art of drum therapy. The founder of that organization trademarked the term drum therapy. I have the right to use it because I paid for the training. But yeah, a lot of times you'll see on Instagram #drum therapy, and it's a drummer like just flailing away on the drum set, having a blast. Every type of drumming is therapeutic, but not everything is drum therapy.
Got it.
It's not customized. And this is backed by science. It's I don't bring any other religions or cultural things into it. We always close out with a rockin' tune. I take requests, and I throw in a little bit of coaching or mentoring and a lot of motivation. So if you want the science, a lot of people say, how does this work? Well, keep in mind that when you're hitting a drum, especially one like this, it has a lot of bounce. So when you hit it, sound waves are going through the entire room. I had to shut off the snare drum behind me because when I hit this, it makes it rattle. So that the sound waves will go through the whole room. And imagine what it does to your body. It feels really good. So there's sound waves, and you can stay on that last slide a little bit. The sound waves and frequencies are very, very important in this type of healing modality. Drum therapy is different from music therapy, so let me just clarify there. Music therapy is a degree program with it's lots more involved, but both healing modalities do create specific programs for specific things. And the frequency part, I tell my Christian friends, don't freak out. Every instrument has a frequency. Ask any guitar or bass player.
Frequency.
Every note has a frequency.
Every color.
Yes, so I know my
thing.
my different drums have different frequencies. The cymbals back there, so I can use different things depending on what the client needs. And it does help you bring clarity, calm, and healing. If nothing else, I tell people I cannot guarantee miraculous healing, because what happened to me after the accident was extremely miraculous. But I can guarantee that you will feel less stressed, you will feel encouraged, and you definitely will have loads of fun. And that in itself is healing. Okay, next slide. How am I doing here?
All right, so 15 minutes.
Drumming helps you reset your personal rhythm and your mindset, especially when you're saying personal affirmations. You can create your own. I'm sharing some at the end to give you an idea of different things you can say to get in the groove, literally, because you're taking deep breaths and you're convincing yourself that, everything's going to be okay. And it does boost your confidence. The more you drum, the better you get at it and the better you feel. And it also adjusts your body's frequency. When you are suffering from any type of illness, your body's frequency actually goes down. But through drumming, especially drum therapy, we can raise that up a bit. So there you go.
Wow.
And are there any more slides? Let's see. What do we got? Okay, so listening to music, a lot of people say, oh yes, music is very therapeutic, and they think it's the same thing. No, I'm not performing for you. That's not drum therapy. You're drumming with me, and my private clients get a drum shipped to their house if they're in the U.S., so they have no excuses. But yes, listening to music, and there are programs that have that, and there's things all over YouTube as well. It can be very calming and very healing. But studies have shown that actually playing an instrument is 10 times more effective. Wow. It boosts your brain integration, as I said, and it's a full body workout. You actually burn calories.
Wow.
Even just, 270 calories per half an hour of drumming, even if you're just sitting and drumming, on a drum like this. Way more if you're drumming on the drum set, because you're really moving everything a lot more. But we have clocked it. It was somebody who had a Fitbit. She clocked it for me. 270, boom, right on the money.
Wow. Cool.
Hey, a little bit helps.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that gives you a bit of the background. And the next slide, please. Lasting benefits. Even people who just drum a little bit with me, of course, the more you do it, the better it works. And I like people, especially private clients, to sign on for at least 8 sessions because they will feel some added benefits. Even if they stop after the 8 sessions, the benefits will continue. And they say 3 months of benefits. So once you get into it, though, you want to do it on your own as your own self-care practice, because that's exactly what it is. Can't go to the drum once and expect to lose 50 pounds. You have to keep up with it 3 times a day. 15 to 20 minutes is what studies have shown has been the most effective. It's preventative medicine, less meds are needed. And like I said, clients feel great. Next slide, please. All right, so have some fun, whack on a drum. All right, there we go. That's one of my many taglines. I didn't mention my accident. I don't know. Is there an extra slide there? This might be a different. No, okay, never mind. We can skip the slideshow then, and I can just explain it real quick. What are the odds of getting run over by a speeding bicyclist in a crowd of 200 people?
Wow.
I was the only one hit, and I went flying. I didn't think it caused anything major. I did know that I was feeling pain in different body parts, but I dismissed it. I didn't know that I had a concussion and whiplash like instantly. I didn't find that out till a year later. That would have been nice to know. But I did know this. Swelling happened immediately on my knee, my ankle, and even my back. I mean, there was I don't want to be gross, but there was a whole pocket of fluid, a very large, on my back. And I thought, this cannot be good. And so I started going to doctors, physical therapists. Nobody could figure out what was going on. 3 years of being in severe pain. They scheduled me for 3 surgeries, shoulder, knee, and ankle, and an invasive procedure on my spine. We discovered, thanks to an MRI, that the accident triggered a rare neurological degenerative condition called Tarlov cyst disease. I had cysts all over my spine. That would explain why I was in so much pain, especially my tailbone. I had difficulties moving, walking, sleeping, you name it, numbness, brain fog, the whole 9 yards. Took a lovely trip to the dark side, and so unbelievable for somebody who's so encouraging with others. But I began to give up hope. And that's not a good place to be in. And finally, I just said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. What can I do to alleviate and get rid of all of this? So if you're a person of faith, stick with me here. If you're not, it's my story. I'm sticking with it. I just had a conversation with God. Give me a way to heal myself and heal others. And what do you got? And I heard Dori use the drums. You know, I already did use the drums. I went, oh, for me. I never thought of drumming for me.
Yeah.
And I did. And after 2 weeks, all of my symptoms were gone. I canceled my surgeries. I never went back to the doctor. Swelling went down, numbness, brain fog, everything disappeared.
Wow.
I did do some other dietary changes and things like that to help with the inflammation. Like I went gluten-free and things. But right away after the drumming, I thought drumming could help with all this. So full disclaimer here, I've never worked with anyone with lipedema, but you did ask me, would this help with inflammation?
Correct.
And since it helped me, I'm thinking I think it could. Of course, when we're drumming, especially with people who don't have a drum on their side, they usually drum on their desk, on their legs, or on a book. Now, you guys, if you're suffering from lipedema, drumming on your legs is probably not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
You won't want to do that. But you can still tap, tap, tap on your desk or tap on a book. You won't feel or hear the vibrations when you're doing this on your own on a desk or a book, because it's a hard surface. There's no bounce. There's no sound waves. So keep that in mind.
And when we were talking earlier in the week or so, I think I shared with you that many times the women in our community feel ignored by their doctors, and ignored by, people in our circle, because of our weight. And, there's a lot of shame and childhood issues. And you had shared a little story. I always like the inner healing part of it too.
Yeah.
You had shared a little story about being ignored as a child, and I think that that can kind of come into play even for us, being pushed aside and nobody really listening to what's going on in our body and people telling us that we're crazy and we don't know what we're talking about. So, just really briefly, would you be able to share a little bit about that?
Sure, I became a very quiet kid because I felt, no one was listening and there's lots of other things going on in the family at that time. And when I finally found my voice as an adult, I realized, especially after the accident, no one's going to stick up for me here. The accident happened at a day job. When you get injured at work, no one is your friend, and they will do their best to prove that you're wrong, that you're making this up, it's all in your head, and oh, that must be a pre-existing condition. And they talked down to me so much, Tamara. They made me feel like a complete idiot,
Mm-hmm.
and they made me cry, to be perfectly honest, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there and I was so frustrated because they weren't listening. I said, no, this is before the MRI. See, I'm glad I asked for it because, hello,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a rock and drum chick knows what she's talking about. And they just didn't believe me that I could possibly be in that much pain because I looked fine.
Right, right, exactly. So going back to the drumming, didn't you say that you were able to work through some inner healing
Yes,
process
I
through the
did.
drum?
I did because going to doctors who don't listen to you and make fun of you for 3 years is
Mm-hmm.
enough to build up a whole lot of anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
And what's a great way to get rid of your frustration and anger? Whack on a drum, people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, bam, hit that thing. I tell some of the women that I work with, and they're just like tap, tap, tap. I'm like, is that all you got? Hit that thing. You know you want to. And I give them permission
Mm-hmm.
to hit the drum as hard as they need. You won't hurt the drum.
Mm-hmm.
You might hurt your hands. But it's
Mm-hmm.
such a great release. And they're like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Exactly. So that's what I did. I drummed out my anger, and then I said positive affirmations to reset my mindset
Yeah,
because I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I didn't want to
right.
have that stuff follow me. I didn't want to walk around with what they call the victim mentality. Oh, woe
Mm-hmm.
is me. I can't do this. I can't do that. I got to bring a cushion with me wherever I
Mm-hmm.
went to sit on. And
Mm-hmm.
it was pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine even asked me, "Where's Daring Dory?" Because
Oh,
I'm pretty bold, and I
yeah.
had just shrunk back so much. I wasn't the same person. I just felt completely defeated. I said, "Daring Dory has left the building, and
Mm,
I don't know how to get her back."
mm.
But I drummed her back.
There
So
you go.
yeah,
I
so I
love it.
just connected with my childhood love of drumming and
Yeah.
finally was able to release, reset, restore, and rise up. And that's one of the affirmations that I have done with many people.
And we'll
And
touch on that in a few minutes, I'm sure.
yeah,
I just wanted to kind of repeat a couple of things that I heard you say. You talked about the vibrations and the sound waves and recalibrating without cracking. I thought that
oh
was
yeah,
really,
yeah, yeah.
and then neuro adjustments to help us focus better, find joy and healing. So that's a lot. That's a lot that
It
you can do with this. So my next question is, I think I shared with you my funny story. I always like to, I always think, oh, drumming sounds really cool, but I don't know if I could do it because I can't keep rhythm. And one time when I was younger in my early 30s, I was at church on a team. They had just started, playing more progressive music, and I
the
had the
tambourine
tambourine.
story. Here it comes.
I know. I had the tambourine and I was so excited. And I was just like, and I think I was over ambitious and I don't really think I could keep a beat, to be honest. And at some point, they took my tambourine away.
Well, most people don't
So,
realize there really is a system to tambourine was
yeah,
actually the hardest thing for me to get.
yeah.
And I didn't realize that you've got to follow the drummer and match the snare. So
Oh
when he
my
hits the
God.
snare,
I
you
was
hit the
probably leading
tambourine.
the team all over the
Most people
place.
are like, happy clappy, happy clappy.
Right.
And like, no,
They're
no,
the
no, no, no,
middle
it's
of the
not what the
guy.
drummer's doing.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, Kathleen. So she is from Raleigh, and she's really close to us. So I'll be sure and
Cool.
connect you with her. Um, so who can do this? Can any of us do this?
Yes.
Even me that can't keep. And then here's the other thing you said one time. You told me you have your heartbeat, right?
Yes.
So you could follow your heartbeat, and I love that. So
Yes.
can we all do this? Is this something that's just
Definitely.
for certain people?
Nah, no, not at all. I always joke that I'm not teaching anyone how to go on tour with Santana
Yeah.
or Bruno Mars or Toby Mac anytime soon. It's just easy beats and rhythms that anyone can follow. If you can count, you can drum, and drummers can only count to 8. So there we go.
Ah.
No, you don't need to know music theory. You don't need to read music. No, you follow your heartbeat, which is your musical instrument. That's your rhythm instrument. You were born with it. That's the first thing you heard in your mother's womb. Boom, 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 boom. 2 beats.
Yeah.
So every drummer and most of your drum circle facilitators, they'll start with the heartbeat because it brings everybody together, and anybody can count to 2. And if they can't, I might say, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're drumming all together. Let's sync up our rhythms. 1, 2, here we go. And they just get into it. Close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. And you can add extra beats to make it a little bit more challenging, which I usually do with people, but 2 beats, and it gets you in the zone, and you could focus on your beat, your breath, and you don't think about anything else because you're so focused on what you're doing. I've worked with ages 4 to 100.
Wow.
If they can do it, so can you.
Okay. So while we're here and on that note, I think it would be a good time to segue into that. You said that you would lead us in a little activity. And again, ladies, don't use your legs, but we can do our desk or on a book or something of that nature. So would you
Yes.
like to lead us in that little activity?
Sure, I'm going to demonstrate 2 very easy exercises that you can do anywhere, anytime, even in your car, wherever you need, if you're feeling stuck, scattered, stressed out, or overwhelmed. First of all, roll your shoulders, people. Take a deep breath. I'm going to say some affirmations while we're drumming. We're going to start with the heartbeat. Again, 2 beats on whatever you have handy.
Okay.
1, 2, here we go. Deep breaths. You're going to be fine. You've got this. You can rise up. I did it. You can too. You don't need to be in pain. Release it. Say, I don't need this anymore. I don't want to carry this. I'm going to heal. Release, reset, restore, rise up. Right? Don't forget, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. No matter what type of issue you have going on with you, you can use your story to bless others. Deep breaths. 3, 2, ready, and stop. There we go.
Cool.
So again, sometimes I'll switch hands because if you twist a little bit, that helps your waistline. If you wanted to make it more challenging, you could add extra beats just for fun. So that's one. That's called the heartbeat. The second one is called the stopwatch. For those of us who, 60 Minutes is still on TV, but for those of us who are old enough to remember 60 Minutes, or just a stopwatch, it goes tick, 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 tick. So that's your beat. I'm going to use both hands and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You ready?
Okay.
1. All right. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything's going to be fine. Deep breaths. Just like you're walking, except on the drum. We're going to speed it up. Get ready. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, future drummers, here's your chance to do a drum roll. 1, 2, ready, and drum roll. Boom, that's what I'm talking about.
Very fun.
And
That's
I
really
also
fun.
mentioned another drum, if we have like one couple of seconds, that I used on my body. This is a kind of a Native American buffalo drum, but no buffaloes were harmed in the making of
Yeah.
this drum. It's completely synthetic, but it kind of looks like one. Not authentic, but it has a really deep tone. So this frequency of this drum is deeper than the djembe. And the djembe is spelled D-J-E-M-B-E. You don't pronounce the D. Okay, so buffalo drum. I might go around. I went on my shoulder, knee, ankle, back.
That's a workout.
Just to get the areas that I was in pain and where the inflammation was. Most people can't do that. So for my clients and even group events, I would go around their chairs. They said at the end of the session, close your eyes, put your drums in front of you. This is your sound massage. I'll go around their chairs in the back. They don't have to do anything. And they just feel it. And then I go back to the heartbeat. I wish you could feel it. It feels so cool. Most people say, oh my gosh, I feel like butter. I'm so
Oh
relaxed.
gosh, that's so cool. I want to come and hang out with you in real life. And we're
Ah,
close.
yeah, we got to
We
do this.
should.
We got to put something together. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you. Before we close up tonight, how can people find you? And I know that you talked about that you also do this online,
Yes.
and you have a drum that is very reasonable that people can purchase, so that if they wanted to do it online with you, any of that you'd like to share, and we'll share how they can reach you.
Sure, yes. I have worked with people virtually all over the world. How cool is that, right? I didn't expect that, but I'm telling you, once COVID hit, I said, wow, it just kind of took off and people found me. And of course, I could not ship a drum to Europe, but they found one on their own. But yeah, I am a Toca percussion artist. Shameless plug for Toca here with the logo. There we go. And so I get these drums at a discount, and they get shipped anywhere in the U.S. to anybody who needs, whether they're a client of mine or not. I've had people say, could I just order a drum? And I said, yeah, it comes in lots of colors. What would you like? The big drums are very reasonable. And it's like $160, which includes shipping and handling, no
That's
tax.
a great deal. Amazing.
I know, and you have this to use for self-care anytime you need, and it's such a great release. And sometimes, you can just, if you're having a day where you're just feeling a little low energy, you can just go really quiet. Sweep the drum like the ocean, just kind of chill out. So there's that, and I have set up private virtual sessions, and I always throw out there that I would like to do a group virtual program, like either a series or once a month, so that option is available. We can do that via Zoom, and of course in person. I can travel Raleigh. I can go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. Those are all within driving distance, as long as I don't have to put my drums on a plane. That would be a pain. I might not get them back. They might get lost or crushed.
Yeah, get ruined. Well, very cool. And then I think we saw your website come up.
Yeah, so I just saw that pop up. NextStageDrumming.com, moving people on to the next stage.
Yeah, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, the next stage of their life. You know what else is interesting? All my other businesses had Next Stage in them, so I just thought, oh, this will fall into the Next Stage brand. Except the acronym, it never hit me. NSD stands for no sign of disease.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't have planned that one better if I tried. So, yeah, I'm a walking testimonial. Again, I can't guarantee miraculous healing, but I can guarantee you'll feel less stressed, more blessed, and you'll have some fun.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Hey, Dori, one of the things that I always like to ask my guests is looking at the words loved, valued, and treasured. Which one of those words resonates the most with you tonight, and why?
Oh, gosh, all of the above. I think it's important, especially women of a certain age. People don't believe this, but I'm in my 60s, like approaching 70. I'm a rockin' grandma, and people my age can feel invisible
Mm-hmm.
when we go out in society. So it's nice to know that I'm valued.
Mm,
I'm seen and I'm valued. I'm not,
that's
an
right.
invisible old lady, what does she know kind of thing. So I
That's
still have a
wonderful.
little bit of coolness left and I can still
Yeah, you
rock
got it.
kids. So
You do. You're
don't
you're a
write me
cool
off.
Grammy.
Keep up with me, people.
That's
I
so
got a lot of
cool.
energy still. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's so
when you
great.
get older, you want to feel seen and you want to feel valued. And of
Yeah,
course, love and treasured is those
yeah.
two are
So
given.
using the word valued, could you put that in a one sentence or two to encourage the ladies in our community?
Oh gosh, let's see. I, you are valued more than you know.
Mm-hmm.
You have worth. You have dignity. Don't let anybody try to take that away from you. You're here on purpose for a purpose, no matter how you're feeling from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
still
right.
have value.
That's right. Thank you. That is so beautiful. Thank you. And for our community, I would love to hear from you, and just type in the chat and tell us which word tonight is resonating the most with you. Loved, valued, or treasured, and why. So we definitely want to hear your voice, even if it's just in chat. And just even, or if you're watching the replay as well, let us know, loved, valued, or treasured, which one resonates with you and why. Before we go, I have a couple of announcements. And let's see, we have our heart to heart gathering coming up in our area. This is the 3-day virtual conference that's coming up. And there's special pricing, and it's an early bird, and it's very, very reduced. So get in on this. This is a wonderful opportunity to hear from experts. We have a book that's coming out that's been written by several people in leadership and experts in the field, and they're going to be going step by step through all of that. And it's just a great time to get together and be even virtually with other people that have lipedema, and be able to come up with some solutions. Iron sharpens iron. And so I love our conferences. You just come away learning so much, and it's so full, and it's like a $600 value, $595 or something like that. So um,
Wow.
for the special pricing early bird, you've got to get in on it now. The other thing is, because it is Lipedema Awareness Month, you can have a heart to heart gathering. And I know that there's a few states already that are being listed. My friend and I, Julie Stewart, we're doing one together in North Carolina. But be sure and look on the page for Lipedema Simplified on Facebook or on the website, and sign up if there's one close to you, and we can meet together in person. And we're just going to have lunch and visit and share experiences and wisdom with each other. So, and if there's not one in your area, we just want to encourage you to just plan it. And I'm here to help you if you need some advice or how to do it, or our team will help you out and get you some literature that you can pass out. And it's just a matter of picking a restaurant or maybe a park or somewhere to go and meet together, and just put it on Facebook and advertise and send invites to your friends, and we'll help you get the word out. So those are super fun. Let's see, is there something else coming up? We have a compression webinar coming up. I'm very interested. I just signed up for that one myself. And so that is a free webinar, and the link is there in the comments, and you can click on that and register. So that one, I think, I don't even remember the date, but it's in June, and you can click on that and get some more information. So I think that's good. I think that's all that I have for announcements. My next podcast will be on Wednesday, the 25th. So I'm always here the second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. EST. And again, if you're watching the replay, please pop in and ask questions, and I'll be sure that Dori gets that information if you have any questions for her. And I think that's it. So, to my guest tonight, I just want to remind you that you are loved, valued, and treasured. And Dori, I just thank you so very much for joining us tonight. I just was so enthralled and I had fun and I want to buy a drum and I want to hang out with you. And
That would be
but
cool.
even if I have to do it virtually, I want to
Yeah.
drum and I want to do this. So it sounds super fun. And I would just want you to know that you truly are loved, you truly are valued, and you truly are treasured. And I just value our friendship. So thank you
Aw,
so much for
thanks,
being here
girl.
tonight and being just such a blessing to our community.
Glad to do it. Thank you for having me and everybody out there. Wow. Keep the
Yay.
faith, keep on rocking.
Yay. And she's got books too that you can get.
Two books on Amazon. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll
Sure thing.
see you soon. Bye.